Hello, and welcome to Talk Social to Me. I'm your host, Mackenzie, and today, Ben and I are going to be giving you all the information that you need on everything that's released on social media in the past 2 weeks, 3 weeks. How are you today, Ben? Are you ready for this?
I'm in the pocket. I'm ready to go. So yeah, let's do that.
Oh man, so there's been a lot released since our last blog or our last podcast that we did, and I think one of the things for me that I'm most excited about, I'm like hesitant to say most excited about, but I think this is probably like a really cool feature, is TikTok just rolled out a new feature that lets you find songs by singing or humming them. And not only that, you can actually say a sound that's been like stuck in your head, which for me it's been like spectacular. Give me 14 of them right now. Has been like on a loop in my head. And you can now just like say that into your TikTok and it will like give you every single video that uses that sound or that song.
That's so smart. Yeah. Google's had that for a while, where you can kind of hum to try to find a song, but it makes even more sense in this context because sometimes you want to find the trend and you can't find the original video. Like for me,
Yes, exactly.
the one that's been in my head has been "Ooh, brother" or whatever that one is. And so finding where that came from could be helpful in making content, or even just to scratch an itch when you're stuck on it.
Well, and not only that, it's one of those things where I don't know like about you, but for me, I will get into a trend and not have seen the original video that it comes from.
All the
And I'll be
time.
like trying to scroll back, trying to find the original trend. And then on TikTok now, when you say the audio, it pulls up the very first video. So where it's coming from, it'll be like it even tells you like original.
I love that. Yeah, because sometimes getting to this source is so difficult. So that's unreal. And even for just like social media general knowledge, it's sweet to have known where it comes from. Because sometimes people take the sound and then their video gets more views than the original, and so then people think it's theirs.
And it kind of reminds me a little bit of what Instagram is doing or what they're trying to do by giving people who repurpose other people's content. They're now pushing the original creator's video over the repurposed video.
Yes.
And I feel like that's what kind of TikTok is doing a little bit by highlighting the original creator over people who have just done different videos that are related to that original creator.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, absolutely. I think it makes complete sense. But it's such a shift from old Instagram, especially because Instagram was basically a curator's platform. Like look at the massive meme pages that got built there. There were so many like what was that one that got sold? I think it was like called Daquan or something like that, and it got sold for millions of dollars. Whereas
What?
growing that today would be incredibly difficult to do. Like for some tests, I've been starting theme pages with the different approaches, and one that we did was supposed to be like we're trying to find country songs, but because they're getting flagged right away as the song, they're not getting pushed as far. So it's been a test that's been the hardest page to grow because I think of these recent changes of giving the credit to the original people.
Yeah, that's really interesting because I'm sure obviously they keep saying that they want to support the original creators. They want to support small businesses, support small creators. And that's the way they're doing it by not pushing out other people's content who's repurposing it. That's really interesting because that's not what Instagram was based on.
Yeah, we've posted almost 100 times in this page to only 12 followers, which is really, really low for anyone who's not like grown a theme page before. Normally at this point, we would have thousands, like literally thousands. So I wanted to see like, oh, does this stuff actually work? And it really seems like they are suppressing anything that's not original.
Huh. Well, there you go, folks. If you think that Instagram's not doing anything, they actually are.
It seems like they are.
Been here first. But to go back to the TikTok thing, obviously Shazam has been doing it for like, Shazam's the original person brand company that's done it. And then, like you said, YouTube's done it. But I think the aspect of having the audio on there is so important. And I think I'm just really fascinated if this is going to be something that Instagram tries to steal later on once TikTok like really goes off with it, because I don't see how they couldn't, because I've been already used this. Like it just got released, I think a week ago, and I've been using it pretty much every single day.
Yeah, that's typically Instagram's move, is to steal it. And a fun little tip for anybody who's on the go, you can actually add, because Shazam got bought by Apple, so you can actually add Shazam as a utility to your phone. So you can add it as one of like the widgets that you can automatically use. So if you go into settings and then I believe it's called widgets, you can add Shazam so that you can do it on the go really quickly too. Just a little pro tip.
I wonder if Apple will steal this idea. If it'll be
Well,
like one of those things where like maybe not under Safari or Google, but they'll try to figure out a way to kind of populate a list of different trends that are using that song or that sound.
yeah. So right now, because they bought Shazam for the purpose of when you find a song in the wild, say you're at a restaurant or whatever, and it brings you to the Apple Music version of that song to basically try to push people to sign up for Apple Music. And so I'm a Spotify user myself, so it's really annoying that I got to go and search for it. Like, obviously, first world problems for sure, but like to go over to Spotify then search it. It's a smart move. So probably,
Yeah, we'll see. But going off of this, if you are somebody who's trying to find trends, this is a great way to find trends, especially and like figure out different ways that other people are using this trend for their business or their brand. When I was looking up like spectacular, I'll have 14 of them right now. I was doing that the other day and I kept seeing different companies and different brands using it. And I was like, oh, this could be a really good way for us to use it for this account or for this account, other clients that I'm using or other clients that I'm working for. And I think that's a really good benefit for this. However, if you're looking, and I'm going to do a little quick plug, if you're looking for another way to find trends or anything for your business or brand, I want to let you all know about Flick's new feature, plug, viral content suggestions. And basically what it does inside of Flick, we send you a daily notification of a trend that is currently going, and we will explain exactly how you can use that trend for your business or brand. We will tailor it exactly for your business and brand. So any trend that is currently going on at the moment, you'll get an email letting you know how to use it. And it's really quick and it's really simple. And it's just a really easy, fun way to get on top of trends before they completely go viral. Hopefully that your stuff will go viral as well.
and that's why that's so helpful for context for anyone listening to this is that trends, they're not what they used to be. Like, you shouldn't just ride trends blindly. If you want to use trends, you got to apply it to your specific situation and to your audience. That's really like the true art form and the nuance of it now. And that's why it's become a lot more difficult for people, which is why we built this tool to provide context to exactly what the trend is. And then based on what we know about your brand, your business, and your desired audience, we then give you specific step-by-step instructions on how you should approach this trend. So we basically do like a lot of the heavy lifting for you so that you can make something original and unique that's far more likely to actually help your brand. Whereas a lot of businesses, what they do is they just simply regurgitate the trend bar for bar. And then either if it gets views, they're not targeted at all, or it gets no views. So this is kind of help with both those things.
Absolutely. And like you said, viral trends are great and it's fun to get new eyes on your content, but sometimes those people aren't the eyes that you want. And we will help you specify exactly how to make a trend work for you and your audience. So new people who see you and come in know exactly who you are, what you're doing, what you sell, and hopefully those people will become customers, all that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's honestly one of my biggest issues with social over the past 3 or 4 years is how TikTok sold the lie of all views are good views and how people just chase virality now so much. And there are some people getting rich off of taking the opposite approach of like speaking directly to their customer and being cool with that. If the potential audience size is only a few thousand and you get a few thousand views, like that's viral. And I think that's a really important thing I want to like really underline here is that you should only be thinking in terms of your potential viable audience. Like how many people are even in that market? If you are super specific and a video of yours gets 5,000 views and there's only like 10,000 people to reach, you just crushed it. That's insane. And if you have something expensive to sell them, that could relate to so much more business than say a video that gets tens of millions of views if they're not targeted. Because most times you got to think of it like this. If a video can get tens of millions of views, it has to be so generic or so just like random entertainment that it can't really drive big business.
Exactly. Well, and I was just thinking, and we'll definitely do a podcast on this about viral content and how your business or brand should approach viral content, pros and cons, everything like that. But kind of speaking of someone, both of us recently went viral on our own Instagram page over at Flick, and going through the comments while we were talking about stuff about social media, and that is our jobs, and that's exactly what Flick's all about. Flick does have a product that we are basically trying to give to people who are social media managers, business owners, content creators, all those types of people. So the people who saw our viral video about meta verification, while it was amazing and great, and it's a topic that we talk about all the time over here, not all of those views were people that are our customers. And they're not going to convert to customers, all of them. And it's that point where, yes, going viral is amazing, but also at the same time, you think you're going to be rich and famous and all this kind of stuff. It doesn't happen that way.
No, and also, as someone who's gone viral on my personal pages multiple times, it kind of can suck, because then you get such a concentrated audience around one specific topic. And then it's like, if you double down on it, you can ride that for a while. But then whenever you try to do something slightly different, your views are so dramatically low that you kind of get distorted in your brain, being like, should I keep doing this? And so it can really kind of push you off of your vision. So I think being thoughtful and also not getting too wrapped up in what it is really important, because it can happen and it doesn't necessarily always mean that much for you.
So there's your hot tip for the day. And something we always talk about, just don't care too much about the virality of things, because sometimes it's just a viral content is 10,000 views. Sometimes it's 2,000 views. It depends on who your audience is and who you're selling to.
There's so much nuance. And one narrative that I do love that's being pushed as of late, and Hormozi is a big advocate for this, Alex Hormozi, is that he's pushing a lot of examples of really small creators, small in air quotes, that are making big, big money. Like he highlighted this one lady who made a few $1 million off of an Instagram account with like under 5,000 followers.
Oh, wow. Because
she's selling something incredibly specific at a very high price point. And so it's just like, you can do that. But the irony is there's so much value in talking about those kinds of things, but they don't get a ton of views. Like whenever we make content, some of our most valuable content on our YouTube channel has the lowest view count, because not enough people are aware of the distortion of that social proof creates in our brain. Like we instantly see a lot of views and we associate value, when if you want to hack to become a way better marketer, flip that. Like literally, like fight that urge. The gold mine for amazing information sits in like the 1,000 to 10,000 view mark over on YouTube, because it usually, like, that's where step 11 and 12 are, because most people won't do step 1 through 10, but that 11 and 12 is where like all the money is made. So like the potential people, the audience size is so low, but really that's what you want. So it's like, it's a natural cognitive bias that if you're aware of it, you can fight it and actually get way more information.
Absolutely. And it's kind of like a funnel. So if you've ever in the marketing world, it's the funnel that you want. And look up funnel. Maybe we'll talk about funnel one day. But yes, you got top of funnel, bottom of funnel.
One other thing I want to mention here too with Flix and anybody who's selling a product is that don't get discouraged by negative feedback from people who aren't your customers.
Yes.
That's a trap that's very easy to fall into as a business owner, because you start reading all the comments, and we as humans, we scan through all of it, but we narrow in on whatever's negative. And so within my agency, we launched a software product recently, and we're only selling to people who have money and want to save time. Like that's what most software solutions are. And a lot of people are complaining about the price. And it's like, every time I reply to a comment, I'm like, you're not our customer. I don't care. Do you know what I'm saying? Like it is what it is. And so you have to kind of be like that as a marketer, because you're not trying to sell to everyone. So if the wrong person doesn't want your product, shocker. Like that was always going to happen. Yeah, It's all good. Don't get discouraged by that. There's a lot of people who are like, oh, I need to stop making content like this. It's like, if it's bringing in the right people, it's also going to bring in some wrong ones. The wrong ones are just going to be the loudest. So like, don't let that change your whole approach.
Exactly. Top tips over here.
We're giving out all the sauce today.
Sprinkle, sprinkle. So we're going to go back to the social media news, and I would just want your hot take on this, because I think it is bonkers. Well, it's not really bonkers. It's just very interesting, just because I know how people are. But Instagram is now, your DMs can now be locked and hidden in the chat. And I was like, this can be really interesting for relationships.
I didn't even see that. So guide me through this update.
So basically, in your DMs, you can now select a certain chat that you're in and lock it and hide it from being able to be seen in your DMs.
What? That's worse for relationships than the recent activity feed that they used to have.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. It's like, oof. And I know WhatsApp does it as well. Like WhatsApp just recently introduced it. Obviously, Meta owns both. But I was just like, oh, what is Mark Zuckerberg up to? What is he trying to do from his wife?
That's way worse on Instagram, because Instagram is the world's most popular dating app on the world, like in the planet. Like it's where all people go to like meet other people. And if you're not a creator, it's a dating app. Like
Yes.
it literally is, or it's a photo booth, like if you're married or whatever. But if you're like a single person, Instagram is a dating app, and or even sometimes some people in relationships still use it like that. So giving them more tools, that's I don't love that.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, that's a spicy update.
Yeah, that's insane. So do they just like categorize them to a different place? How does it work? Where does it move them to?
So basically, it's called lock and hide chat mode. So move this chat to a folder only you can see, and you have to use your face or your fingerprint to unlock it. So it's all about your biometrics.
That is deception fluid right there. That's like giving you all
Yeah,
the juice. Yeah, that's don't love that, but I'm sure some people will be excited about that. And if you are
I'm
excited
sure they
about
will.
that,
Maybe think about that for a little bit.
yeah, exactly. Why are you excited?
And then because we've talked about the meta verification, or because we talked about Meta using your data to train its AI, there's now X is using your data to train its AI Grok. And if you want to disable that, there is a way for you to disable it because I've already done this because I don't want this happening for my own stuff. But essentially, all you have to do is open up your settings page on X on your desktop. It has to be desktop, it cannot be on your mobile. Go to your privacy and safety button, select Grok, and then you just have to uncheck the box because I know that there's a lot of people out there who are really concerned about AI using their data and all of their posts and everything on social media channels being used to help teach in AI different things. So if you don't want that to
Yeah,
happen,
definitely take advantage of that. It's just one of those things where the laws aren't where they need to be, where I feel a lot of these companies are just going to ask for forgiveness rather than permission and just do it and then pay the fines later.
yeah. I
I
mean,
just feel
because
like
that's
that's
what
going
they
to
do
happen a lot.
already.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know.
And I still think that Meta is going to get around the EU restrictions and regulations. I think there's going to be something that happens there in the future because right now they put a pause on using your data to teach its AI at the moment. Pause is what I'm saying in air quotes because I don't think that they're pausing anything, to be honest. And I don't
Okay.
think you saying that you want to opt out of it is really going to help. But that's just me. I am cynic. So yeah, I do think it's going to be one of those things where, like you said, they're just going to be like, whoopsie daisies, like this is what we did, and then just pay money for it later
Later.
on.
Yeah, that happens so frequently just because tech moves so much faster than legislation can. And that's present across almost all sectors of life right now. Like a lot of our rules, they are so slow to move, but technology is moving so fast that the rules of life are changing faster than the rules of bureaucracy or politics or whatever. So we're in a very interesting time on that front because like all this is completely brand new and the laws weren't built to deal with it. And the other
Yeah,
scary thing is that most of the people making the decisions on the laws once they finally get there have no clue what they're talking about.
at all.
Like the whole remember we sell ads. Like they didn't even know how Facebook made money.
No. Like, how bonkers is that? Is that they need like Gen Z and they need millennials, they need Gen A in there to teach them how to do things and give them overall insight on how these things work, and they're just not.
They need to make politics cool. Like they need to make younger people actually want that job. Like it's one of those things where unless you're there's very few people that are attracted to that like line of work. You know what I mean? And so that's why it attracts a
Yeah.
lot of not great options because you got to think about everything that comes with that job. So they got to figure out a way to make this far more appealing so that better candidates are going in there that know more about current day things that can actually get people like behind them because politics right now is in a scary place.
Yep, that's all I can say on that. To go back to Instagram really quick, because there are a few other features that I completely forgot about. So they just released 3 other new features. One is 20 songs. So you can now add up to 20 audio tracks to a single reel.
Oh, that's jeez.
I was trying to ask a friend, like, who has nothing to do with social media. I was like, how do you feel about this? And he was just like, yeah, I think it's cool. Like, if something changes in the middle of the reel, like the mood changes, you just like switch the song. It's like, but who's going to sit down and want to track, like, I don't know. This just seems like a bad idea to me.
Yeah, I'm all for giving people more creative tools. That seems a little excessive, but I think giving as many tools and freedom as you can to the creators is awesome. I think a lot of people they don't have access to other editing tools, so sometimes they want to use the in-app tools to try to make whatever they can bring to life because they don't have any money or they don't have a computer, right? And so giving them as much tools is definitely not a bad thing. 20 seems like overkill to me. But I'm sure someone will use it to make something awesome. And if that's the case, then hey, I'm glad they got it.
Good on them. It's not going to be me.
No, I will not be spending the time with the little bars going.
Oh God, it's the worst. And then I mess
so
up,
annoying.
and then I like have to go back and like expand it all again, and just like.
Yeah, it's so frustrating. I much prefer editing videos on my computer because it's just so much more precise. But yeah, a lot of people don't have that luxury of having a computer, so as many tools as possible native in apps is a good idea. Especially with Instagram saying they want you to be editing in the app. It's like, hey, they make it not suck.
Yeah, exactly. Make it easier, but what can we do? The other one is notes expansion. So Instagram is going all in on notes, as we all know, because obviously Gen Z and Gen A love notes. So they're now adding notes to reels and feed post. So followers will now be able to add a note to a reel and a post. So to me, it's exactly like commenting, but it's noting. So you just add a little note to somebody's videos.
Oh, and what's the difference between that and a comment?
I don't know.
Does it like pop up or something?
Yeah, it like pops up on the side.
Okay. Yeah, I think Notes is a solid feature for it's basically like the modern day equivalent of what like Facebook statuses used to be for us back in the day, or your BBM status, which we all loved as a kid.
I did love a BBM.
BBM was unreal.
My aim like status as well, just putting it up because I wanted like some like lyrics that were like doom and gloom because I wanted somebody to be like, "Are you okay? Like, what's going on?"
All the time. Yeah, you'd set that like little cryptic messages and just to hope someone would reply. It was a special time.
It really was. And then the last feature that Instagram has recently released, which again, why? It's a super like. So do you not only like a story, but you love it, you can now send a super like on Instagram. They will only let you send one super like a day.
I feel like all these tools, like this one and the private DMs, is all just like they're like dating features. Because like, why would you use those unless to show like very high interest? Because like the only way I could see that being used is to try to capture someone's attention.
Yeah.
And so at that point, it's basically like a dating app. So it's like, yeah, I don't think I'll ever use that.
What was it on Hinge or Bumble where like somebody could like send
all of them?
Like a what? Okay, was it all where they could send like a bigger like than?
Yeah. So on Hinge, you can send a rose, which is a super like.
Yes.
On Bumble, you can send a super swipe or something, and then on Tinder, it's a super like, and so it's blue in a different color.
Yeah, I remember I sent exactly 2 roses on my time in Hinge, and neither of them said anything back. So that's on them.
So they missed out huge. They fumbled the bag. They missed
out. Yeah.
But yeah, it's a feature that all the dating apps have, and so I guess hey, why Instagram should have it too, since they're in the dating market.
They are, and they feel like they will keep claiming that they're not. And remember, like, is Facebook dating still a thing?
It's a thing, yeah. I've used it before just to see what it was, and it's hilarious. It's actually probably one of the better functioning dating apps out there, but not enough people are on it, so they serve you random people from all over.
Oh, okay. Is it kind of like Raya, where you get people from all over the world, or?
It's kind of like that. I found that it was almost all Canada and the States for me. But it was people that were very far away, and they'd call them lucky picks. They're like, we think you'd be a great match. So they'd show you people from all over, and then you could do what you wanted from there. But it was kind of difficult to use, but it was free, and it was one of the better apps that way. Just difficult to meet people locally, so dating them would be pretty difficult.
Hey, do you want to meet up in Florida?
Yeah, exactly. You want to fly somewhere for a date?
Oh, I mean, I probably would, so I won't lie. I've done that before.
Really?
I have.
Wow, that's badass. Good story, though.
Yeah, good story. Great ending. Then let's see. What else is happening on the great wide world of social media? TikTok and Eventbrite have now partnered, and now you can they're trying, obviously, Eventbrite's trying to promote more of their events. I am trying to think of the last time I actually booked something through Eventbrite. It's been a long time. But now they're promoting everything through TikTok, and TikTok is completely taking over that partnership.
Yeah, I find that a lot of it's very business oriented. The only things that I go through for Eventbrite, like I buy conference tickets and stuff through that, but that's really it.
Yeah, I can't think of the last time I bought something on there. But hey, what do you know? TikTok is trying to get their fingers in all the pies. So this is just another partnership that they're leveraging, and you can now buy event stuff on TikTok.
Like TikTok, it's so smart that they're building these tools in there to reduce friction and just allow people to buy right within TikTok. Because that's like TikTok Shop has exploded. And of course, in Canada, we don't have access to it. What else is new? But like people are becoming so wealthy through these features. And that's why it's never been more valuable to create content, because now if you're just a decent content creator, you can make so much money affiliating other people's products and services. And you can start brand new pages all the time, right? So like you could literally have like a page for promoting events. You could have a page for doing this. And if you're good at creating content, the principles apply to whatever niche. And so now with these ways that you can easily become an affiliate for any product or event, like that's insane. Like there's going to be a lot of teenage millionaires off of this.
Yeah, I expect so. And I'm curious if something's going to happen, because remember TikTok did that TikTok concert, I think it was last year, and they sold tickets through the event, but it was like a live event on their platform.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, so it was like a pretty massive event last year, I believe. And I'm curious if now Eventbrite will maybe partner with them on the next big TikTok concert that happens.
No kidding. Yeah, that would just make a lot of sense. Why not? And I was actually thinking about the ticket market in general like a week or two ago, about how Ticketmaster has a near monopoly on that market. It's actually insane.
100%.
And how this should not be legal. So Ticketmaster, they take a massive upcharge to buy through their platform. It's the only place you can buy tickets. When you go to sell, they take another 20% every time that ticket is exchanged. Like they're keeping 20% every single time. Yeah, so let's say I sell for 100, they made $20. The next person sells at 200, they keep another like $20. And then they also won't let you sell your tickets unless the event has like reached a certain threshold where they're okay with you selling the tickets.
Jeez, I didn't realize that.
It's the most monopolistic thing I've ever seen. It's pretty common in like Canada. All of our businesses are like that, all of our industries. But that was insane to me when I realized how much they keep. I tried to sell tickets for the first time, and I was just like, they keep like nearly 20% on every transaction. That's mental.
It's insane. And I remember Pearl Jam back in the early 90s, they like went to Congress and like tried to fight against Ticketmaster and all of their fees. And then recently Taylor Swift attempted to go against Ticketmaster, which to me, if she actually did want to do that, she could have won, but it's not good. They're not good people, but we'll see if anything happens.
They're so big, and they have everything sorted out, right? Like they have all the relationships with the vendors, with the locations. Like basically, if you don't want to work with them, it's like any sort of mass consumable product in Walmart. Like if you don't sell through Walmart, your business basically goes under. And so they basically dictate the prices that they get. The same is true in Ticketmaster for all these things associated with live entertainment. So yeah, I would really love for some sort of law to come in where there has to be more of a competition. But right now, it's insane. So maybe Eventbrite with this push from TikTok could maybe come in and be that competitor.
Yeah, we'll see. And then the last thing, which I think is interesting, I'm really not sure how it's going to be different than the original creation, but OpenAI just announced Search GPT, where you can now search completely on their platform, and it will give you timely answers to questions, and you can ask follow-up questions, explore additional related searches that are in a sidebar. But to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, shout out to Google, I use Gemini way more than I use ChatGPT. Really? But how is this different than ChatGPT? Like you ask questions to ChatGPT and it pulls up articles, it gives you information. I don't understand how Search GPT would be any different.
Yeah, maybe it's just a language thing because they know people are more familiar with the term search. And so maybe that's just what it is, trying to train the habit. Because on the surface, I'll have to look into it more, but on the surface, it sounds quite similar. But maybe it's just a conditioning thing because we're so accustomed to search and that being our solution. Because I think most people that still use Google search or Bing search, it's out of habit, not necessarily a better outcome or a better product. It's just because that's what they've associated with finding the solution to their problem.
Well, and I find Google search not that great recently, especially with their partnership with Reddit. I'm getting way more Reddit than I am just normal everyday articles. Gemini, I do actually enjoy. I think the information that I get from Gemini is better than ChatGPT, which is to me fascinating because Gemini and Google same. So I don't know why the results are better on Gemini versus just me searching.
So that has a lot to do with their ranking algorithm within search. It's all algorithmically driven, and as they make updates, so I have a buddy who runs a big blog network, and the blogs within Google are constantly playing the game of the latest update, and any updates make massive changes. And so the current ranking system is so heavily based on backlinks. And so one of the major publications, I think it was the New York Times. If it wasn't, it was one of their competitors. To prove this, they did like a joke piece where they made this article about like the best printers, I think it was, and they purposely broke every conventional SEO rule and still ranked number one because their backlinks were so strong.
Oh, wow.
And so it was literally like a what the heck Google, like they purposely broke every rule and we're still ranking number one because their backlinks for the whole website were just so strong.
Well, if you are somebody who has a blog, who has a website, make sure you get those backlinks, guys, because you will rank high on Google.
You will. It's a corrupt system right now, though, because these legacy media outlets have so much more of an opportunity. So then by default, even if their content isn't good, they're going to rank near the top, especially with its current latest update. So hopefully AI will come in and solve that problem where they can kind of get more of a feel for actual genuine value of the content. One other piece is that almost all blog-based content is driven so largely off of affiliate income. So listicles that you see, everything that you see is largely influenced based on who's paying them the best amount of money. So when you see like rankings, if the one that you see at the top has the best affiliate commission, like almost every time. And so so just be conscious of that when you're consuming. Do your own research, because that's something that most people don't understand. Like, oh, it must be the best. I see it on the top of every list. It's like, yes, because they're paying the top for every list.
Exactly. Yeah. And I honestly, now when I Google, I usually don't even look at the first two pages. I go to like the third, fourth, fifth page, because I was like, I know that the content that I want is deeper in Google than the first few pages that have a lot of backlinks, have a lot of SEO practices, have good meta descriptions, all of that bullshit.
Yeah, and that's actually a really good way to do it, because there are people that will write genuine content, but they're going to get buried by the people like the New York Times or the Wall Street Journal, these massive publications that are doing that strictly for the affiliate play. And so they're able to take advantage of the site ranking they have from all their backlinks, and then they populate all of these keywords when the actual better content is now sitting on page 2 and 3.
Yeah, absolutely. But with this new search GPT, I think it's incredibly important to make sure that all of your social media pages, your blog, everything, your website has specific keywords that you know are going to rank on Search GPT, because they're going to be scanning and scouring the internet, looking for that specific information. And if you are a social media management company like Flick is, we're going to be making sure that all of our blogs, all of our social media content has those specific keywords in them when it comes to Search GPT. Because again, that's what they're going to be looking for when they're scanning. They're going to be looking for those keywords. They're going to be looking for articles. They're going to be looking for Instagram pages, all of that.
Yeah, and I can't stress that enough, because this is very on brand for what we're talking about this episode, but the intent of traffic matters so much. And so you really want to capture these people who have this high intent, that have that big of a problem, that they're searching for the solution, because they're just going to be so much more likely to buy and be way less work for you to convert.
Yeah, and conversions matter. And if you want to sell, obviously conversions and leads are what you're looking for. And if you're going to be putting that information out there, you're going to be putting that content out there, make sure that it's people that you want to come through the door, instead of, like we talked about earlier and like Ben just mentioned, that viral content. Just because you go viral doesn't mean that people are actually going to buy from you.
No, very much ego-driven metric, like just sheer views or impressions in general.
Yeah.
Whereas the targeted nature of things really matters. And I think that even with brands and people that sell things that work with creators are becoming a lot more aware of that. And so they're willing to pay a premium for a concentrated audience. And so the traditional like RPM models that people sold for ads, that's kind of going away a bit. And smart creators are getting a lot more, because they understand the value of the concentration of their audience. And so you should too, if you're selling something, or even if you're a creator and you have a concentrated audience, like sell that accordingly.
Absolutely. And this is going to be something that we're going to be talking about on our YouTube page, over on our blog, probably a possible future episode. We will be talking about traditional marketing strategies, because it feels like that traditional marketing is coming back into play when it comes to social media. And you know what? Thank God. because
Yeah.
it is so nice to have that, like the things that I've learned in school and all that kind of stuff and that other people have learned, but also just seeing everything that's out there. And right now it just feels very splashy and in your face. And it's nice to know that those concentrated efforts of like the old marketing patterns of finding customers that fit in a specific niche and working and creating content built around those people instead of absolutely everybody across the board, that's coming back. And it's so nice to see.
Yeah, I think a lot of people that don't get the results they want, it's because they're just spamming things and hoping for the best, because a lot of people give that advice. Whereas the people that have the most success are kind of blending the two worlds of being modern social focused and like speaking that language, but with traditional marketing initiatives and values about like really understanding who you're trying to sell to, a viewer or customer avatars, like we're going to teach you how to do in a future video, like building those out so you really know who you're speaking to. Because brands that nail that, it almost feels like they're talking to their target customers every time. And they only are able to do that because of all the traditional marketing research and thought that went into all of these things. And that unified messaging, that's also why we built Flick's, all of our tools around being specific to your brand, because that stuff really matters. And getting in front of people consistently the same way has never been more important, especially with how many distractions there are out there. So if you don't have a consistent messaging, it's kind of hard for them to get that relationship with you when there's so much competition.
Yep, exactly. And again, we talked about this many, many times, repurposing the same message over and over again. People won't get bored of it because our attention spans are so short and
They
we
won't
get
remember.
constant information. They won't remember. Get
No,
constant videos, information, everything thrown at us every single day. And when that message comes back, and then it comes back a week later, and then a month later, and then 2 months later, like people will start remembering it and remembering your brand because you're repeating that same message over and over again.
100%. And the messaging that you're using, the words that you're using, the more specific you can be to the person, the problem, that's going to allow you to build more emotion. And the more times you can do that across multiple touch points, that's how it's going to really drive home the memory and the feeling. And so, like, with so much competition, you need to enhance the opportunity for someone to remember. And people remember things way easier when it's attached to an emotion. And so that's why people are always like, oh, create emotion with your content. But the deeper psychological reasoning as to why is because it becomes way easier to remember. So like, because if you look back through anything that was traumatic in your life or something that was amazing in your life, both those were high points of emotion. And that's why you remember them so clearly. There's so many billions of other things that happened to you, but you don't remember them because there wasn't the emotional attachment that locked that memory in. And so if you as a good creator, if you can create that through content, that's how it's a cheat code for success.
Well, there you go. And that's all we got time for today, folks. Oh, I've always wanted to say that. It's like a little cartoon ending, isn't it?
It is. It's like Looney Tunes.
Looney Tunes. That's it. I couldn't remember what it was. If you like this episode and you like us and all of our rambling and our yada yadas and our yaks, please subscribe and give this episode a 5-star review because it helps people find us. And that's what we want to do, is help people find us and teach them all about social media and marketing and all the things that they want to know about social media and marketing. If 100%. You want to see more of us, we are over on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, X, Facebook, all those places at flick.social. If you can't find us on YouTube, just search for Flick Social and we will pop up. What else do you got for us, Ben?
Yeah, just share this episode with a fellow nerd. I'm sure if you like this show, chances are there's someone that comes to mind. So share this with them so that you guys can talk about what we talk about, make fun of us if you want, do whatever you want to do. But we love hanging out with you, so share it to another person that you know would love it.
Exactly. And if you haven't, I'm going to do a last final plug. Sign up for Flick and meet your new AI social media bestie, Iris. She will help you create 75% of your content, and she will help you find viral trends for your content, create social media calendar for you. She will do it all, however little or how much you need her. And she's a great helping hand and a tool to have in your back pocket.
Absolutely. And you can try it for free.
Try for free.
Boom.
We will talk to you all in a week or 2 weeks.
Peace.